I have access to GPT 5.5, but I don't have paid Claude Pro or Gemini Advanced. So today, I wanted to test a realistic question. Can GPT 5.5 beat the free versions of Claude and Gemini in real tasks? This is not a perfect paid versus paid benchmark. This is a practical test for people who want to know what these AI tools can actually do in everyday work. I'll test them across 5 prompts: coding, business analysis, email writing, automation planning, and research. At the end, I'll show which one gave the most useful answers. Here are the rules. I'll give the same prompt to each AI tool. I will not improve the prompt for one model and not the others. Then I'll compare the answers based on clarity, usefulness, structure, accuracy, and how much editing the result needs. This test is not about hype. It is about which AI gives the best result for real work. Test number 1 is coding. I asked each AI to find the bug in a simple JavaScript function and explain the fix. A good answer should find the issue, give corrected code, and explain it in a way a beginner can understand. The correct issue is an off by 1 error. The loop uses less than or equal to items.length, so it tries to access one item that does not exist. The fix is to use I less than items.length. For this test, the best answer is the one that explains this clearly without making it confusing. For the coding test, all 3 models found the correct bug. The issue was an off by 1 error. The loop used less than or equal to items.length, which makes JavaScript try to access an item that does not exist. GPT 5.5 gave the correct answer, but it was very short. Gemini explained the issue in a beginner-friendly way, which was useful. But for me, Claude gave the best overall answer here. It clearly explained the bug, showed the exact error, gave the fixed code, and even added a modern JavaScript alternative using Reduce. So for test number 1, the winner is Claude. Test number 2 is business analysis. This is important because AI is not only for developers. Many people use it for research, decisions, and business planning. For this test, I asked each AI to compare 3 meeting note tools for a small agency. For the business analysis test, GPT-5.5 gave the best answer. It followed the prompt exactly, created a clean comparison table, included pricing links, and gave a practical recommendation for a 10-person agency. Gemini also gave a detailed answer, especially around CRM workflows and client reporting, but the pricing was less clean and the answer felt more complicated. Claude sounded confident, but it made a serious pricing mistake. It said Fathom was $29 per month flat for the whole team, but Fathom's official pricing is per user. For a business decision, that kind of mistake matters. So for this test, the winner is GPT 5.5. Test number 3 is email writing. This is one of the most common business uses for AI, but the answer should not sound robotic, desperate, or too salesy. For the email writing test, this was very close. Claude's actual email was strong. I like the line, no slides, just your actual use case, because it makes the demo feel practical instead of pushy. But Claude also added extra explanation below the email, so the result would need a little cleanup before sending. Gemini's email was professional, but it felt more generic. GPT 5.5 gave the cleanest, ready-to-use answer overall. It gave 3 subject lines, stayed under 120 words, kept the tone helpful, and the email was almost ready to send. So for this test, I'm giving the win to GPT 5.5, but Claude was very close. Test number 4 is automation planning. This is where AI becomes very useful for small businesses because the model has to think step by step. The answer should give a workflow someone could actually build. For the automation planning test, I'm giving the win to GPT 5.5. Claude actually gave a very nice visual workflow, and it looked great on screen, but GPT 5.5 gave the most build-ready answer. It listed every step clearly, showed what data to capture, explained how to score the lead as hot, warm, or cold, and even included the exact ChatGPT prompt you could use inside Zapier. Gemini also gave a useful workflow, but one part of the email prompt assumed the agency has 2 or 3 listings in the leads neighborhood. That could be risky if it is not true. So for a real small business automation, GPT 5.5 gave the most practical answer. Test number 5 is research. A lot of people use AI to understand trends and prepare reports faster. So I asked each model to summarize practical AI automation trends for small businesses. For the research test, GPT 5.5 gave the best overall answer. It stayed practical, used a clean table, and focused on small business use cases like workflow automation, customer support, marketing, admin work, and reporting. The biggest advantage was that it included sources, which matters for a research task. Claude's answer was detailed and well written, but it included some strong statistics without showing sources inside the answer, so I would want to fact check it before using it in a report. Gemini also had a good structure, but some examples felt a little more advanced or hype-focused for a normal small business. So for this test, the winner is GPT 5.5 because it was the most practical, clear, and reliable. After testing all 3 AI tools with the same prompts, here's my honest conclusion. GPT 5.5 won 4 out of 5 tests. It gave the best answers for business analysis, email writing, automation planning, and research. The biggest strength was structure. The answers were clean, practical, and needed less editing before use. But Claude won the coding test. Claude explained the JavaScript bug more clearly, showed the exact error, gave the fixed code, and even added a modern JavaScript alternative. So if your main goal is learning code, Claude is still very strong. Gemini was useful too, especially for structured answers and quick explanations, but in this test it usually needed more editing or felt a little more generic. So my final result is this. For coding explanations, Claude was the best. For business workflows, automation, and practical work, GPT-5.5 gave the strongest overall results. And the biggest lesson is simple. Don't choose an AI tool only because of hype. Test it with your own real tasks. For this test, GPT-5.5 was the overall winner, but Claude still proved it can beat GPT in specific tasks like coding explanations. That is why the best AI tool depends on your workflow. If you want more simple AI tests for coding, business, and automation, subscribe to the channel. Next, I'll test AI tools that can help small businesses automate real work.